At this time, I'll call the Budget Committee meeting to order and ask for everyone to please register their presence.
Here.
You're over here.
Well, here, you're over here.
Ready? Yeah. 5 present, 0 absent.
Thank you. I'll now ask that the emergency announcement be read, please.
In the event of an emergency evacuation, an alarm will sound. Everyone should exit the building by way of the nearest stairwell in a safe and effective manner. If the nearest stairwell is blocked by smoke, use the other stairwell. Do not use the elevator. Once you have reached the main floor, follow the exit signs to exit the building and quickly proceed away from the building. Please be mindful of others evacuating and of emergency vehicles.
Thank you. I now ask if there's any input on items on the agenda. Yes.
Mr. Brown, I'll speak to items on the agenda for certain purpose budget when we get to it.
Okay, when you want to wait till we get to that one? Okay, that'll be fine. All right, seeing no one wishing to speak. Item D, approval of the minutes, approval of the March 7th minutes. These minutes need to be approved, and they are in your packet. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the minutes.
Okay. Have a motion from Commissioner Moon. Have a second from Commissioner Lewis. Any discussion or any questions? Seeing none, I'll ask for the vote. Please register your vote.
Five yes, 0 no, motion passes.
Thank you. Finance increases, 1A, debt service, $150,828,989.85. Recording of the bond financing that has taken place. Randy, I'll ask that you present this.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we send it forward.
Okay, I have a motion to send forward. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and I have a second from Commissioner Kaler. I'll now ask Randy if you'll just explain this.
The item you have in front of you is,
Oh,
the item you have in front of you is a reflection of the debt that we issued back in November. And at that time, the desire of the commission was to put $5 million of fund balance into the transaction so that we could lower the amount of bonds that we would have to sell. We did run that transaction through the operating statement since it was an action of commission. Now that we have actually sold the debt, we have all the transactions in, we need to flow the balance of that transaction through the operating statements. It's reflected on our balance sheet, but we need to run it through the operating statements. So we've run this by the auditors and they have signed off on it, so we need commission approval so that we can book the transaction on the operating statements.
okay. Do I have any questions or any discussion?
Just close.
Yes, Mr. Moon?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's a closing entry.
Yes.
basically. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. All righty, I'll ask anyone else wish to speak or have any questions on this. I'll ask for the vote. Please register your vote, please.
5 yes, 0 no, motion passes.
Item B, highway, $350,000 for the purchase of a paver. Do I have a motion to send this forward?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion from Commissioner Kaler. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Hannum. Is there any questions or discussions on this? Any questions or discussions? Seeing none, I'll ask for the vote. Please register your vote, please.
5 yes, 0 no, motion passes.
Moving on to E1C, Soil conservation, $15,618. Educational assistant money to last year's end. Do I have a motion to send this on to the commission?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Any questions or discussions? Commissioner Moon?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I understand it, this is a flow-through of grant money. Is that correct?
Eric, is that
Mr. Moon?
correct? Do you want to, this is a flow-through grant money? Correct.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask for a vote. Please register your vote.
5 yes, 0 no, motion passes.
Item E1D, emergency management, $25,085. Contributions towards the purchase of the Spillman failover server. Items E1D and E1A, or E1A, are actually items that go together. I guess we should discuss these together, but we will vote on them separately. Angelique, will you explain this to us, please?
Mr. Chairman, let's get it done before.
Okay. Do I have a motion to get this on the floor?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion, Commissioner Lewis. Do I have a second? Second. Commissioner Kaler, second. It's on the floor. Angelique, will you explain this to me, please?
Sure. And Keith can correct me if I say anything wrong. But this is for a failover or backup, basically, server to provide protection in case the server that we have now goes down, if there's a power failure, or if it goes down for maintenance. The current one is housed at the 911 center. This will be housed at the Justice Center. Lance Coleman received a grant from Homeland Security that will cover a large portion of this. Then CSX provided a $5,000 supplement for it, and then Alcoa and Emergency 911 are splitting the remainder of the cost. This is just to put what Alcoa, 911, and CSX are contributing together with our grant money to purchase the backup server. The attorney for the county drafted an interlocal agreement between the three entities, and that's the next item. But we kind of have to approve the funding
Okay.
and then the agreement.
All right, let's go ahead and get that on the floor. So we're voting on E1D. And do I have a motion to forward this on to the agenda committee?
Mr. Chairman, you have a motion.
I've already got it?
Yes, sir.
And
That motion by Lewis.
Okay.
I've got one quick question, though, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman. The $25,085 is Blount County, is what the commission will be voting to appropriate, the increase.
Send it one more time, I'm sorry.
The $25,085 is our portion.
The grant that Lance Coleman has from Homeland Security is $37,200. That $25,000 is the $5,000 from CSX and the $10,000 and change from Alcoa and 911 each.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Do you understand it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You ready to vote? This time we'll go ahead and vote on E1D. I'll ask that you register your vote, please.
5 yes, 0 no, motion passes.
Okay, next one, F1A, is part of the same grant and part of the same process. And our attorney, Craig Garrett, is drafting the interlocal agreement on this. Do I have a motion? Have we already got a motion to put this one on forward too? Commissioner, do we have it? Okay.
No, we don't have a motion.
Okay, let's go ahead and get a motion for F1A to send this on. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Hannum, do I have a second? Second. Mr. Lewis, is there any other discussion or any other questions? Seeing none, I'll ask for the vote. Please register your vote, please.
5 yes, 0 no, motion passes.
Item F1B, the TDOT grant, Denzel Access Road, right-of-way.
Make a motion, we send it forward, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion to send this forward. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. At this time, I'll ask Randy to explain this, please.
This is the state industrial access road agreement between the state of Tennessee, city of Maryville, and Blount County. Maryville and Blount County represent the local contribution. That sum is about $120,850 split equally. So our portion is $60,425, goes toward right-of-way acquisition. The proposed source of funding, we already have a provision for, and I'll let the mayor update you on that source of funding based on his comments and meetings with Ether.
Okay, thank you, Randy. Ethra has notified me that they have found funding for the Ethra transportation shortfalls that they had accrued through the Federal Transportation Authority pulling of some grant money. They have made provisions to and we had allocated around $71,500 towards that. They have informed me, and we will get that in writing this week, and they want to come and speak to the commission, but they have informed me that they will not need that money, so that money is readily available for this use. Okay, any other questions or discussion? I'll ask for the vote.
Five yes, 0 no, motion passes.
Next up, Blount County Sheriff's Office grant, information only. These are annual grants received by the Sheriff's Office from the Tennessee Highway Safety Office each year. These grants do require action from the Budget Committee, so we do need to vote on these. The first one being 3A, the litter and trash collecting grant, resolution 17-05001. Do I hear a motion to send this forward?
I make a motion we forward 3A, B, and C, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion to forward 3A, B, and C. Do I have a second? Have a motion and a second.
Let her catch up.
Yeah, just a second.
I've never really had anyone say I talk too fast before.
But do they have to make the motion? Do they? Click a button. Did you? Sorry. That's okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. We have a motion and a second.
You need to put B, type in 3B and 3C also. Doesn't take them all at one time.
Type it in here.
So let's ask the mayor to give you a little more time.
Yeah.
As long as he states it.
Okay.
Okay. A, B, and C, we're voting on all three at this time. We have a motion and a second. Do I have any other questions or discussions on this? Seeing none, I'll ask for the vote. Please register your vote, please.
Five yes, 0 no, motion passes.
Okay. Item F4, 17-18 budget recommendations, but before we address this final budget recommendation, this committee needs to take action on items that were received after the budget workshop presentations, and they're included in your packet as attachments. I'll ask Angeline to take a roll call vote on these items. First item is County Clerk's additional request withdrawal. Gay Hasty has withdrawn her request to add an additional part-time employee. Do I have a motion to accept this withdrawal?
So moved, Mr. Chairman. Second.
Commissioner Lewis, Commissioner Moon, I have a motion and a second. Do I hear any discussion or any questions on this? Seeing none, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Kaler.
Yes.
Hannum.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Mitchell.
Yes.
Moon.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 2, Circuit Court Clerk, revised request. Tom Hatcher's memo addresses additional changes to his original budget request. The first item we need to vote on is his withdrawal of an additional full-time employee. Do I hear a motion to? Do I hear a motion to accept that?
So moved.
To send it on to the commission?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
have a motion and a second. Is there any discussions or any questions? I'll ask Angela to take the roll call vote, please.
Kaler.
Yes.
Hannum.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Mitchell.
Yes.
Moon.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to ask on item B, the second request from Mr. Hatcher is an additional request for $3,000 to supplement a vacant position. Tom, would you like to come up and speak on this, please? Do I have a motion on this?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. And I'll ask Mr. Hatcher to speak on this item.
Thank you. I apologize. I'm battling this crud that's going around, so my voice may leave me during this time. I had looked at our budget, and as you all had just done, I asked to withdraw the full-time position. We had another employee that was hired to another agency, and we are requesting an additional $3,000 in this position. We have hired someone, or actually we were in the process of hiring someone to fill that position that has quite a bit of county government experience, and it would take more than the $24,840 that position is at at this point. As this budget committee well knows, that during the budget time on July 1, the county commission actually gives me a loan as the circuit court clerk because I am a fee office. And throughout the year, we collect fees and pay monthly payments back to the budget committee to reimburse what money that we receive for our budget, because we do not receive any tax dollar money from the property tax. So the $3,000 that we are requesting here is just like a piece of sand out in the desert when it comes to the overall budget process, because each year when we pay this loan back, we pay it with a tremendous amount of interest on top of that. And what I mean by that is we have always turned in more revenue at the end of the year than what our budget has been. So I'm requesting this additional $3,000 to upgrade that position that we have, that we are in the process of filling right now. Any questions?
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Yes, hang on just a minute, let me get you.
I'm right with you, Tommy, on the voice thing. My question, though, is since we're only talking about $3,000 and you do typically have some that you can turn back in, is there not a way that you could perhaps find this $3,000 in your budget to cover without asking for an increase at this time?
Not at the beginning of the budget, because I don't know whether I'll have money to turn back in at the end of the year or not. It just depends. Mine depends on a lot on our juries, how many juries we have, and if we have any jurors that are sequestered in that takes up quite a bit of money. A lot of the money that we turn back in comes through that process of the jury system. So taking money out of that, I would be afraid to do that on the beginning. Also, as you know, last year the judicial commissioners were taken out from under my umbrella and put under the general sessions judge's umbrella, and my budget was cut $8,800 last year to help fund the judicial commissioner's new budget. So at this time, it would be hard for me to do that on the very front end.
So you couldn't find $3,000 anywhere on your in any of your line items that you could?
Not at this time, I wouldn't think so, no.
Okay.
Is there any other?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I have a question for Mr. Vineyard. Mr. Chairman, we do a revenue anticipation note to the circuit court clerk. He's talking about it. How much interest is being paid? You say we pay a lot of interest.
I'm assuming that the clerk was making a, we literally don't enter into a loan. It's metaphorical, I think, is what he's talking about.
Is there interest paid on?
Don't want to speak for him, but
The interest that I'm talking about is the additional money at the end of the year that we turn in that is more than what our budget was during that year, Mr. Moon.
Fee collection.
Yeah. Yes.
Because the schools over time, and so the highway department one time did do revenue anticipation loans.
the county does not lend money per se in the form of a note to a fee office.
Okay, I just wanted to clear that up though, because it said a loan, so.
No.
Is there any other questions? Any other questions or discussion? At this time, we'll vote on this.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll ask for the vote. Oh, we're doing a roll call. Never mind. Go ahead.
Ready for me?
Yeah.
Kaler.
Yes.
Hannum.
No.
Lewis.
Yes.
Mitchell.
No.
Moon.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-2.
Okay. The next item is the school board met on May 4th, 2017 and amended the budget request for the schools. In our packet is the budget summary and memo from the Board of Education. The motion that I need is to approve the additional budget request. Can I go ahead and get this on the floor before I ask Rob to come up and speak on this? Do I have a motion? Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion and a second. I now ask Rob if you'll come up and speak on this, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Budget Committee members. On May 4, the Board of Education approved an amended Fund 141 budget request for 2017-18, a total of $93,282,000. The budget request of $93,282 is balanced and is based on $1.07, which is our current rate for schools. So we are not requesting a tax increase with this budget request. We respectfully ask of your consideration and approval of our school budget for this year. Do you have any questions from me?
Is there any questions or any discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask for Angeline to do a roll call vote, please.
Kaler.
Yes.
Hannum.
Yes.
Lewis. Mitchell.
Yes.
Moon.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. This time, we will address the overall fiscal year 17-18 budget recommendation. Do I have a motion to forward the budget recommendation to the Agenda Committee?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion from Commissioner, what's that?
He got it. No.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
got it.
Second, do I have a second on this? Commissioner Lewis, seconds. With that on the floor, I'll ask Randy, please, to address this. Oh, sorry.
Some background information for everyone. We will have the proposal on the board here on the monitors for the audience to be able to see as well. After each of the budget workshops, I'd ask the members of the committee to get back with us and make us aware what their priorities were so that we could independently prepare some recommendation that we could present here tonight. And we have done that. That entailed several individual meetings and phone conversations with each of these folks. And so for tonight, we're recommending a proposal I'll talk about in terms of revenue and then in terms of appropriation. But in terms of revenue, we're recommending a status quo property tax rate, no increase in property tax. It'll remain at $2.47. It will also remain with the same distribution. General County will get the same amount. I can't read that. 88 cents. I've got it, never mind. Schools, $1.07, debt service, 48 cents, and education capital projects, 4 cents. In addition, there is a detailed revenue accounting of each of the revenues for the general fund and all the other operating funds of county government. A penny is worth $336,000 in the proposed fiscal 18 budget. That is an increase, so we are continuing to see natural growth in property valuations in Blount County. And then on the summary of the funds that are being recommended, the general fund, which is Fund 101, is recommended at $53,944,850. Fund 112, which is our Courthouse Jail Maintenance Fund, $192,483. The library fund is Law Library Fund is $9,675. The library fund is $2,472,360. The drug fund is $296,045. Highway fund is $7,216,000. General purpose school fund is $93,282,000. And then we have some additional school funds represented in 142, and that's $7,022,686. Another school fund, 143, $6,106,000. And the last school fund, 146, is $1,637,000. Our debt service fund, we're proposing $18,873,500. Our school capital fund, $1,439,000. And then our general capital fund, 189, $3,480,000. So when you aggregate or sum all those up, the resolution that'll be forwarded to the full commission next month will be $195,971,599. All funds are balanced. The exception to that statement are the 3 funds you see listed on this page that are special revenue funds. Those funds get revenues that are beyond our control. Those are estimated to generate more revenue than we'll have expenses for. And at the bottom of this page, you'll see a recommendation from the committee that will go to the full commission that we have capital appropriations in Fund 189 that total $1,850,000 for our continuation of our IT modernization program, $415,000 for Blount County Sheriff's Officer safety capital needs, $1,100,000 for an economic development project that we're partnering with on the state of Tennessee, and $115,000 that will be to do some public improvement safety project over at the Everett Senior Center, or not Senior Center, but at the Everett Center. We are funding the IT modernization program, Blount County Sheriff's Office, and the economic development project all out of fund balance. Those are non-recurring revenues going toward non-recurring expenses. The project that's listed as Parks and Rec will actually be funded out of general fund revenue. All of those will flow out of the general fund under transfers, and they'll be transferred from the general fund over to Fund 189. So the detailed accounting for those projects will all be in Fund 189. That's in, the reason I'm stating that is that question arose at our workshops, and this is our fulfillment of that commitment that they will be accounted for separately. There is no increase in head count or full-time employees in this budget. And those are all the general comments that I have, Mayor. I'm open to any questions that anyone has, if there's any clarification. But that's the proposal in front of you. All of those that I read would be, as I stated earlier, will make up the appropriation resolution and the tax rate resolution that will be before commission at the June meeting. Your action tonight will go to the agenda committee and be in the commission's hands as information only. So the publication process will take place in about 2 weeks. And that starts the public discussion on the budget with the public. And then the public hearing will be at our June meeting. Tomorrow, we should have the detailed line item budget listed on our website along with this proposal that you're hearing tonight, so that anyone that wishes to see what's being proposed and discussed will have all of that together on our website under the accounting department. That's all I have.
Is there any questions or any discussion to Mr. Vineyard? Seeing none, then I'll ask for the vote. Please register your vote.
Five yes, 0 no, motion passes.
Okay, thank you very much. If you will indulge me, please, I have a statement I'd like to make. First of all, I want to say how much I appreciate the work of the elected officials in this county and the department heads who have put so much effort in preparing the budgets this year. They have each presented a budget that shows only those funding items that are absolutely needed to provide that which our citizens expect, and we need to ensure that government works efficiently and effectively. I'm so proud that this budget committee has remained committed to no property tax increase. The tough decisions made to not fund a great number of additional requests made by various departments was done with every consideration of our citizens in mind. Focusing on public and employee safety, focusing on improvements to the efficiency of our services provided to the citizens, and focusing on economic development are all direct influence impacting the quality of life for the citizens of Blount County. As I've stated at the beginning of our budget workshops, while most citizens here in Blount County are unaware of most of these details and are unaware of our debt details, I have no doubt they appreciate all that is being done on their behalf. We were elected to serve and make Blount County a better place, and our citizens trust us to do the right thing every day. I think that's obvious by the financial health of this county, and most certainly by the number of folks that are moving into Blount County from other places every day. It is obvious that Blount County is a very attractive location to live your life. Every decision we make should be made with that duty we have in mind. Again, I want to say how much I appreciate the hard work and dedication of each of these budget committee members, and I trust that the commission will find this proposed budget to be acceptable and pleasing in continuing the services to our citizens. Thank you. With that being said, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Move to adjourn. Thank you.